everyone, welcome back to a brand new video here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinberg, and this is going to be a unique video. I do not like doing trailer reactions. I can't really fabricate or make or act to you guys like a lot of these other reactions where, oh my God, this is every 2 seconds in a movie trailer. But I wanted to give my thoughts on the Avengers Doomsday trailer, give you my full thoughts. I'm not going to break down the trailer or the Easter eggs. I just want to give you my fair general thoughts because I have a lot to say about this trailer and really the state of Marvel. So again, welcome in everyone. I know this is not the typical reaction video that you guys watch on other channels, but as I said, I don't like doing reaction videos. When I watch trailers, I'm making all these faces and sounds. I just watch the trailer, then I react afterwards. I watch it a couple more times, then I get kind of a full reaction. So this is what I'll do for this, and I think some other bigger trailers where I want to give my thoughts on this. So I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this trailer down in the comments. And we do live in a time now, and I think everyone agrees on this, where especially in the comic book world, especially in the movie world, and really just society as a whole, either society loves something or hates something. We have lost the nuance of being either enjoying something but not loving it, thinking something's bad without saying it's the worst thing we've ever seen in the world. We have lost the middle ground, right? In my opinion. And I fell after watching this trailer multiple times, watching breakdowns, seeing other people's reactions. But again, I don't base my opinion based on, I stick to what I believe when I watch the trailer. And I felt very mixed on this Avengers Doomsday trailer. And this is someone who, again, grew up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Iron Man came out when I was 6 years old. This is a franchise that I have literally grown up with my entire life. So I have a lot of nostalgia, a lot of care into this franchise. And I am not someone who has been all out hating what Marvel, hating every single Marvel movie, hating every single Marvel TV show. If you do the channel, for example, I was big fans of both the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four First Steps. Loki and WandaVision are pretty great television shows. I thought Shang-Chi was very solid. I'm a big fan of Black Panther 2. I'm trying to talk about these projects itself. Plus, I also grew up with the X-Men films because the X-Men films came out right before I was born, the first one. I basically have grown up with the X-Men franchise as well. And while I haven't hated every single movie or show, what I have not enjoyed about the MCU is really the buildup, right? What made those first four Avengers movies really what they were back, I'd say 2012, 2015, and then 2018, 2019, but especially Infinity War and Endgame, because that's the only comparable to the size and the scale of what this movie will be, is you really felt like we earned our way to a massive Avengers film where we wanted to see all of these characters finally interact with each other, right? Sure, is it like fanboyish, toyish to say, let's just smash these toys together? Maybe. But I did feel like from 2008 until 2019, Marvel did a really good job of you understood what the next project was, you understood the ultimate destination of where all these characters are going to end up, and that got you really excited for Infinity War and Endgame. And I do think the biggest problem for Marvel post Endgame is it just doesn't feel like we have built to anything like what we're going to get in Avengers Doomsday. Now, what I mean by that, it doesn't mean they've made bad films. There are some really good movies in there. Are there some misses in there? Yes, there's definitely some movies I don't think are that good. I think Thor: Love and Thunder is terrible. I did not like Captain America: Brave New World. The Marvels was not good. They have a lot of misses. They also have a lot of hits, as I said earlier. But even the projects I like, you just don't know where these characters are showing up again, who they can interact with. There's no excitement. And I weirdly felt nothing. Not a lot of emotion when I was watching this Avengers Doomsday trailer. Not excited, not hating it, not bored by it, just like it exists, this trailer. It did not blow my world. It did not make me rethink the future of the MCU. I just felt like, sure, this movie exists. And you can definitely tell by this trailer that you can really tell how overly reliant they are going to be on these OG characters. Because again, and again, even though I love Fantastic Four First Steps and Thunderbolts, those movies did not make that much money at the box office as it pertains to the MCU as a whole. And they're bringing back Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr. as like the big three OG characters we're getting back in this movie. And especially Evans and Downey, because again, Thor wasn't killed off. Hemsworth is still playing this character, but bringing Chris Evans back as Steve Rogers, we don't know which Steve Rogers. And then we have Robert Downey Jr. coming back not for Iron Man, but for Doctor Doom. And again, no matter what this trailer offers, it offers barely any Doctor Doom. And that honestly is going to make or break this movie in particular, because this movie is called Doomsday. We have not been introduced to Doctor Doom at all in the MCU, except for a 5-second clip of him in that post-credit scene in Fantastic Four First Steps. We haven't seen Robert Downey Jr. physically as this character. He talked in the first 10 seconds of this trailer, but the story, especially when he takes off his mask in front of other characters who know who he is, that will make or break this movie. Either this movie is going to have a genius story to tell involving Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom, or if that falls apart, honestly, this movie could fall apart on its face if that logic doesn't make any sense. Doesn't matter how many characters I love are being shoved into this movie. If Doctor Doom is not done justice, and I mean with, let's just say Downey takes his helmet off in front of Thor, what is Thor going to say and how are they going to explain that? That element I do think will make or break this movie. And it does feel like there are so many characters in there where I don't know if there's going to be enough time to properly set up Doctor Doom as the big bad. Because, right, because look at Thanos. He debuted in the post-credit scene of the 2012 Avengers movie, 6 years before Infinity War. But look, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in the post-credit scene of Age of Ultron. He has been really deeply set up for 6 years across multiple projects, leading into him being the lead character, really, of Avengers Infinity War. That's not what we have here. Now, again, originally they thought Kang the Conqueror was going to be that big bad. Also, Jonathan Majors happened. They pivoted to Doom. Maybe they did have a plan to take their time with Kang, introduce him in Loki and Ant-Man 3, and then build him up to his own movie. Also could have been totally possible. That was not the cards they dealt with all of the Jonathan Majors controversy. But I do think that Doctor Doom element is important. The movie's called Doomsday. He should be the main focus because, again, the movie does not exist without him. And am I nervous? I'm very nervous. This movie, out of all of those Avengers movies, to me, at least watching the trailers for those films, like when Infinity War and Endgame, those trailers came out, I wasn't thinking about those movies being disasters. They felt like surefire home runs. And I think both Infinity War and Endgame over delivered to many people on very high expectations. And here we are 7 years later, and I do think this franchise now has completely different expectations. Even though the Russos are back directing this movie, even though we have the same writing team from those movies with McFeely and Michael Waldron are back writing these movies, right? Especially McFeely in particular. Does Marvel deserve the benefit of the doubt? Where I don't agree with the people just hating on the trailer. I don't think it's a bad trailer. I just think it's like a middle of the road trailer that does nothing for my excitement for the movie. Like, for example, I'm way more pumped for Dune 3 because also look at Dune 3. That movie has such a high ceiling, such a high floor as well. I don't really see Dune 3 being below a good or even great movie. I expect that. I don't really see that movie being a flat out disaster falling out on his face. Avengers Doomsday feels like it can be anything. It could be an absolute home run hit, return to Marvel, feels like prime Marvel, and sets us up for the next couple years of MC that gets us back in that 2019, 2018 era of Marvel. It also could feel like a setup movie because yeah, we have Avengers Secret Wars hitting theaters next year. It could not, it might not even feel like a completed movie until we get Secret Wars in a year, in 12 months from the end of Doomsday. That's also possible. It's also possible that this movie could be a total disaster that absolutely throws and sets this franchise back. I This is a very pivotal two films, both Doomsday and Secret Wars, and it is so many characters. So many people have you want to see get the right amount of screen time. But I think of all the films, Doomsday needs to be that focus a lot on Doctor Doom. And again, do I think Robert Downey Jr., the actor, will pull off this character? Of course. He is one of the most talented actors the MCU has ever hired. He's a phenomenal actor. But it has nothing to do with his acting, in my opinion. It comes a lot with the story. Does the story make sense of Downey playing this character? Does it fit into the story emotionally? Is it satisfying? Because if it's not, no matter how many Gambit versus Shang-Chi fights and how many, fan service elements are going to be in here, it won't overcome a lifeless story that makes no sense. And that's the problem with the multiverse. It can go in a lot of directions. Look at Spider-Man No Way Home. Look at Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes, nostalgia bait movies on the page, but I think both those films have deep emotional themes throughout, especially Spider-Man No Way Home. So yes, you want to make the fan service. You want to see this actor and this actor interact, this character and this character fight. You want to see it all. I'm totally here for that as well. But I also want to see an emotional, rich story that doesn't feel like this is just a toy set where we're just, oh, I want to play with Fantastic Four and I'll play with the Wakandans. Who knows if that makes sense, but let's do it. I don't want this movie to feel that way. So I am not here to tell you that I'm pumped for this movie, nor am I hating this movie or hating this trailer or loving this trailer. I love the MCU. I think I have every right to be nervous at the same time as giving the Russo brothers, who have not missed in the MCU. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame honestly could be the top four MCU movies ever made. So they have every right in my being to have faith in them to deliver with Doomsday. Now, also, I've watched all of their projects directorially after Endgame, and it's been very bad. Very, very bad. So I also have faith of recency of the directors of that bad Netflix movie last year, Electric State. The Gray Man was okay. Cherry was pretty bad. They've made 2 out of 3 movies since then that I did not like, and the best movie they made was a pretty okay movie. That also has me nervous. So, are they relying too much on the OG characters? I totally get them from a business perspective, focusing on the OG characters because money-wise, box office-wise, Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts completely underperformed. So I have a lot of thoughts. I am very nervous, excited, not excited, all that into one. And that is my honest thoughts on this trailer. So what are you guys' thoughts on the Avengers Doomsday trailer? Did this get you pumped for the movie? Did this make you less excited? What are your bold predictions for the movie? Let me know down in the comments. I respond to every single comment. Like this video. Subscribe to me on both Patreon and YouTube. If you want to support me the best way you can, it's both those platforms. YouTube, trying to get me to 500 subscribers, and Patreon as well. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in another video very soon.